Wilson walks to the edge of the deck and looks over. "Blimey," he exclaims, over a bird's eye shot of the abyss below. Straight cut to an eye-level medium shot, and Eduardo replies, "Yeah. You would buy this kind of house if you could afford this kind of house." Cut to a long shot as Wilson leans over the rail and asks, "What are we standing on?" Eduardo replies, "Trust." Now the frame cuts to an extreme long shot with just the bottom right corner of the frame containing the edge of the pool deck and the two characters. As Wilson gazes into the blinding haze, Eduardo matter-of-factly says, "You could see the sea out there if you could see it." All the while, the soundtrack is filled with diegetic noises of the party, but also the shot holds the two men looking into the golden glare. The lines of dialogue can be read both literally and figuratively. The extreme long shot acts to minimize for the first time Wilson's stature. So up until this point of the film, Terrence Stamp has been in a lot of the close shots, and now it's the first time he's been pushed out, which has been dominant in close-ups to this point in the film. Eduardo's dialogue plays to the homonym C and C and presents the absent water ablution image. The scene subtly suggests that Wilson might in fact be going blindly forward in his quest for revenge. Right, so a lot of setting up technical stuff, and at the end, pop the idea. You know, terms are defined, evidence is provided, the significance of all that at the end of the paragraph. Does that make sense? And then we're going, I had to sit there and it took me an hour to grade this paper because I had to think about all, it got pretty deep. Next, cut to a medium shot of Eduardo as he turns towards the camera looking intently into the party. His expression seems caught and he reaches backwards, tapping Wilson. Wilson turns towards the camera and, without speaking, looks. This is the long shot. Wilson, dressed in black, is centered in the frame. Eduardo off to the right. Straight cut to a long shot of Valentine's house. The side of the wood house contains two open doors spaced about 5 feet apart. Both doors are open. In the left door, a staircase leading to the bedroom upstairs, where his daughter was, when she lived there. In the right door, Valentine stands in profile, mingling with guests. He is dressed in a white suit with a light blue shirt. His costume is the color of the seashore, or partially cloudy sky. All this is shot through Wilson's point of view. Cut to a medium shot of Wilson, Eduardo now out of the frame. Wilson is placed on the right. He stands frozen for a few seconds, staring ahead. The party music and the soundtrack drops out. Silence. Cut to a medium shot, back to Wilson's point of view of Valentine. His new girlfriend walks into the frame. They chat and laugh. Cut back to the eye-level medium shot of Wilson staring ahead. The purpose of these shots, so all that was just technical describing, and now here comes the idea. The purpose of these shots is to reveal Wilson's psychological point of view. We see him putting his target in his sights, figuratively speaking. The tempo and editing and the silence in the soundtrack create tension as the viewer realizes that Valentine is now caught in the bullseye of this dangerous ex-con's mindset. Soderbergh now uses a series of jump cuts to blend two different types of action. One is of Wilson standing on the pool deck looking into the party, and the other is the point of view of Wilson's imagination as he visualizes himself walking into the party and confronting Valentine. From the pool deck, the first jump cut is to a low-angle close-up of Wilson, who is suddenly inside the house, walking towards the camera, and presumably Valentine. The camera tracks back on a dolly as Wilson walks forward. The silence in the soundtrack is now softly broken with non-diegetic and incongruous sound of wind and ocean waves, which adds to the disjointed eeriness caused by the jump cuts. I was thinking, he's going through the sea of people and there's a sea sound. But it also it echoes to some other ideas in the film about the sea. Cut back to the previous close-up of Wilson staring in frozen silence out on the deck. Jump cut back to the shot of Wilson walking inside the house. The lighting inside the house is all soft whites, so the black-suited Wilson creates an ominous contrast. Now cut to a point of view shot. The frame reveals that Wilson sees as he is approaching. What Wilson sees as he is approaching Valentine and his girlfriend. In this shot, partygoers walk past the camera, and in the background, Valentine and his girlfriend stand talking. Behind them, in the background, is a white wall. To the right of the frame, a circular window filled with sky blue color. Repeat shot of Wilson staring forward on the deck. Silence, jump cut back to the shot of Wilson walking. The next sequence of disorienting shots happens quickly, about 2 seconds each. Cut to a close-up of Wilson's waist as he reaches to pull out a revolver. Cut to an extreme low-angle shot, looking from the floor up at the revolver as it's pulled out and pointed forward. Wilson's face is in the background briefly, but the camera pans away, and only the white ceiling behind the gun, behind the large silver gun. Cut to a close-up side angle of the gun. The camera pans left as Wilson extends the gun forward and points it toward Valentine off screen. Now jump cut to a tight close-up on Wilson's face centered in the frame, as he is standing outside again on the pool deck, staring silently and intently into the party. The cheat on Wilson's face, which now fills the frame, adds to the attention. Cheat means the camera just cheated a little bit, tightened up on his face. Jump cut back to a medium shot of Valentine and his girlfriend. The girl looks off camera to the left, but Valentine turns into the camera. We realize by the change in his facial expressions that he now sees Wilson approaching with gun drawn. Valentine is now literally in Wilson's gun sight. Cut to a medium shot of gun pointed at Valentine. Straight cut back to Valentine. Cut to low angle front view as Wilson fires the gun. Loud bang breaks the silence on the soundtrack. Cut to Valentine, who has now been shot. A pool of blood blooms on his white suit just over his heart, like a red carnation or a poppy flower. As he falls back, his face becomes framed in the circular window of the blue sky. Sky. 6 of 7, folks. We're almost there. What is the significance of these shots? All right, so we just had to plod through a lot of technical information. Why? Well, here comes the upshot. The initial dreamlike exterior setting of the pool deck serves to reinforce the fantasy aspect of the shots that follow. But are we meant to think that this is all a dream, reality, or a mixture of dream and reality? The duration of the shots, the quick tempo of the editing, serve to contrast the earlier series of long takes that preceded the sequence. Speeding up the tempo increases tension, but in this case, the editing also helps to reveal point of view. Specifically, the viewer feels the dangerous level of frenetic anger inside Wilson's mind. The acting in these shots, while subtle, is highly effective. So now she's moved on to acting. Wilson has lost his only daughter, and here he is for the first time confronting the man he suspects is responsible for her untimely death. Etched in Terence Stamp's facial expression is a heartbreaking mixture of vengeful anger and newly remembered pain, and just a hint of unconscious bewilderment. In these shots, Soderbergh is using many filmic techniques to vivify the increasingly blurred line between fantasy and reality in Wilson's mind. Besides the jump cuts, which use non-diegetic ocean sounds, wind and crashing waves, also adds tension and symbolism to the scene. The ocean that was absent, the ocean, which was absent visually earlier, when the men are on the deck, now becomes present aurally and connects both the colors of Valentine's costume and the fact that he falls into the blue window frame after he is shot. Both elements act as foreshadowing for later scenes in the film. Also, a drastic altering of shot angles when Wilson withdraws his gun disorients the viewer in a manner similar to breaking the 180-degree rule, which we haven't looked at yet. The sequence further adds to the suspense as the viewer now starts to realize that when a gun is drawn, especially by this man, the trigger is likely going to be pulled. But at this point in the film, the viewer does not yet know enough about Valentine to feel assured that he is deserving to be killed. Fortunately, the loud bang on the soundtrack seems to wake Wilson from his reverie. The shot cuts back to eye-level medium shot of Wilson on the pool deck. He appears to weave unsteadily, blinking a couple times. Then he moves behind Eduardo and walks to the right of the frame. The shot serves as a transition from the reverie back to reality. Wilson walks into the party. The sequence of shots now repeats with a difference. And I cut it off after that. I think you get the idea. So, I think it was, it went on for a while. It might have been 12, 15 pages.
All you wanted was 3.
Needless to say, she got an A in the class.